Imagine having a world-class Neve desk in your rack. Well, with this, you can. It's an 8816 and it's awesome. It's the first prize awarded to the best entry for this year's Piano Day at Crow Hill. All I'll need is 5 minutes of your time, and I'll tell you what it's all about in this video. There will be runner-up prizes too. All will be revealed on Piano Day. In the meantime, here's the metronome click of what you'll be playing to.
Please sing Frere Jacques in a round, starting with our student on the left.
We've been doing this for centuries.
4.
Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques,
Singing in rounds, forming contrapuntal harmonies through basically singing the same thing out of time or phase.
Ding ding dong.
This is It's Gonna Rain by Steve Reich. Two tape machines playing the same phrase out of phase, or rather at slightly different speeds. So as the piece goes on, complex polyrhythms are formed. He did it with clapping, microphones on pendulums feeding back on themselves, used amazing musicians to gradually go out of time with each other in drumming. Violin phase, piano phase, and just look at the expression on the pianist's on the left's face as they enter. Concentrate, the polyrhythmic phase, and then come out, sense of relief. Steve Reich has a lifetime of work centred around these polyrhythmic, polyphasic compositions. And I guess because they're repeated phrases, he's labelled a minimalist, where actually on sheer note count, he's a maximalist. I'm a massive, well that's an understatement, massive fan of Steve Reich, and have used his works to inspire me experimenting with technology, feeding different metronome values to different players who are playing together to create these polyrhythmic, polyphasic compositions from a more mathematical standpoint to understand the logarithmic beauty of maths. But as a form of procrastination, I tend to overcomplicate things massively, and got to a stage where these multiple tempo maps of varying tempos that come in and out of phase became so difficult, I just ground to a halt. Until I saw this. So what this marimbologist, no, don't call him that, I just totally made that up. What he's done is, it's just ingenious. He's overtracked himself like a dozen times, but each track is out with the next one by 0.2 BPM. And it's amazing, that's how it starts together and then just gradually becomes this amazing peel. But you wouldn't believe what happens further down the line. And it made me think that this gentleman has come up with such a brilliantly simple solution. I've linked to the video in the video description, by the way. It's such a beautiful solution to something that I was overcomplicating. And I noticed that Piano Day was coming up, and I thought, why not have a go at doing something like that, but on pianos? Lots of pianos. And this is where I'm hoping you can help out. I know it's really short notice, but the prize, the top prize, is pretty special. What I did is I made a multi-tempo door session. So I created 2 tracks, one for the audio for the note and one for a metronome click. I set the main door tempo to the BPM of that note, so starting at 100 BPM. The second note is at 100.2 BPM. And I recorded the metronomes over like 5 minutes. When you hear the metronome play back simultaneously, it's quite a surprising result. And then what I did is I basically played myself playing the same note for between 3 to 4 minutes, which was agonising, so agonising in fact that I had to get Anthony Bourdain involved. But I gave myself an artistic note, and that was not to do the kind of hammering, pumping, Steve Reichy stuff. Instead I thought, wouldn't it be nice to embrace the feltiness, the close mics, the intimacy, and see what that sounded like. And it sounded nice in a mellifluous and totally pointless way. It belied the fact that this was mathematics and nature being beautiful and just a nice set of notes being played out of time with each other in a way that was quite soothing. So decided to come back to a slightly more regimented route and go back to the drawing board with the door session. So you'll see in this one, instead of having loads of tracks tracked like that, we've basically got one track with a MIDI tempo map that gets everything I need, and I'll do the rest in post. So my next experiment sounded like this. And I think it's good, but what I'm looking for is more variation in timbre. I think the note length is slightly short, so I'll probably do a pass with this piano without the felt. There's a piano in the annex, got a couple of electric pianos here, dulcitone, stuff like that, and I'll play in post with the idea of these different timbres coming out and things crescendoing and settling back in as it becomes a peely mess again, which I think is going to be great fun. And this is where you come into it. For the opportunity to win a brilliant prize, but also take part in something that I think will be really fun, I just need 5 minutes of your time. All it is an audio file that I've put in the hub, which is linked down below. It's a WAV or an MP3. There's a MIDI file in there if you want to work differently, and indeed if you're a Logic user, there's a Logic file as well. And in that audio file, you'll be given a bell tone, which is just a guide to which is the next note you should play, and then there'll be a beep. This is the upbeat to the one where you need to start playing. So it's 1, 2, 3, beep, go. You'll be ushered out by another beep, just stop playing when you hear it, at which point another note will come in, which will be the next note. And you just repeat that process for about 4.5 minutes. I'm going to show you one pass of that, which is going to be the most difficult YouTube viewing since that thing with the cups, and I think it was chocolate ice cream. And then all I need back from you is the audio file you make without the guide track. You can get too much of a good thing, and we'd love you to film it as well on any old phone will do. If you don't have a piano, don't worry. I really prefer acoustic instruments, so anything that you can lay your hands on a guitar. We're agnostic here. Obviously, it's for Piano Day, so if you do have some kind of keyboard instrument that maybe isn't just something connected to a computer, that'd be great. But if that's all you have, that would be wonderful too. And naturally, those of you who go out of your way to do something special will be the ones considered for the prizes. So there's that amazing Neve, which is something I've used for many years, but I'm simplifying my operation here. Alongside, we'll have some runners-up prizes of future products and merch and that kind of stuff. Be part of this collaboration and view the premiere on the 28th of March. So we'll need these entries in by Tuesday the 26th, where we'll be premiering what you and I have done, along with announcing the winners, but also announcing something new that's coming your way. Right. Let me play out with me doing a pass of this rather odd backing track and rather odd task of playing the same note over and over again to create something that I hope will be really magical. So I'll see you on the 28th, 7 p.m. GMT on the Crowhill YouTube channel, which is the Crowhill Co. If you want to download the pack that gets you this audio file, Logic file, MIDI file, etc., then that's also linked in the video description down below. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll see you on the 28th at 7 p.m. GMT.